The government tried to make this illegal, and the Amish just ignored them. For over 2,000 years, one food system kept entire civilizations alive through droughts, wars, and harsh winters. No electricity, no refrigerators, no grocery stores. Then in the 20th century, industrial food companies got nervous. And suddenly, this ancient system was being quietly regulated out of existence. Most people never even noticed, but a small group of settlers in rural America kept doing it anyway. And what they preserved, not just their food, but the actual knowledge, might be the most valuable thing you've never been taught. If this kind of forgotten practical knowledge is what you're into, hit subscribe right now. There are people who genuinely need this and don't know it yet. So here's what actually happened. Around 200 BC, Roman soldiers were conquering half the known world. And one of their biggest problems wasn't weapons or strategy, it was food. How do you feed tens of thousands of soldiers marching across Europe for months at a time, in the middle of summer, with no way to keep meat or vegetables from rotting? The answer they developed was so effective that it spread across the entire Roman Empire. It kept food not just safe to eat, but actually more nutritious over time. And it required nothing more than salt, water, clay pots, and time. That system was lacto-fermentation. And it is the great-great-grandfather of almost every preserved food tradition on Earth. Now, before you think this is just about pickles, stay with me. Because what the Romans built wasn't a recipe, it was an entire food infrastructure. They used underground storage chambers called root cellars to keep vegetables cold without ice. They used fermentation vessels made from clay and sealed with beeswax to store everything from cabbage to olives to fish. They developed specific techniques for layering salt and vegetables that created a self-preserving environment, where the natural bacteria in the food actually fought off dangerous mold and bacteria. The food didn't just survive, it thrived, and it could last for months or even years without losing its nutritional value. This system traveled. It moved through Europe with traders and settlers. Different cultures adapted it. The Germans developed their own version using ceramic crocks and wooden lids weighted down with river stones. The Eastern Europeans turned it into beet kvass and fermented grain breads. The Koreans created kimchi using the same core principles. Every culture that figured this out independently arrived at the same conclusion. Controlled fermentation plus cold storage equals a food supply that almost cannot fail. Now here is where the story gets really interesting. In the 1700s, a group of Anabaptist settlers, the people we now call the Amish, began arriving in Pennsylvania and Ohio. These were communities that valued self-sufficiency above almost everything else. They didn't trust outside systems. They didn't want to depend on governments or markets for their survival. And so they brought this entire food knowledge system with them from Germany and Switzerland, and they planted it deep into the American soil. The Amish built root cellars under nearly every home. These weren't just holes in the ground. They were carefully engineered spaces, usually dug about 8 to 12 feet below the surface, where the temperature stays naturally between 32 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. That's cold enough to stop most bacterial growth, but not so cold that food freezes. The walls were often lined with stone or brick, with a ventilation shaft to regulate humidity. And inside they stacked fermented crocks, dried herbs, preserved meats, root vegetables, and sealed jars in a system that could feed a large family for an entire winter from a single summer's harvest. One Amish family in Lancaster County, 12 people, 3 generations under one roof, was documented feeding their entire household from October through April on food that was harvested and preserved between June and September. No grocery store runs, no power bills for a freezer, just a root cellar, a few ceramic crocks, and knowledge that had been passed down for 2,000 years. Let that sink in for a second. So how does the fermentation part actually work? Here's the science, but in plain terms. When you submerge vegetables in a saltwater brine, you create an environment where a specific type of beneficial bacteria, called lactobacillus, thrives. These bacteria eat the natural sugars in the vegetables and produce lactic acid as a byproduct. That lactic acid lowers the pH of the brine, making the environment too acidic for harmful bacteria to survive. It's essentially the food protecting itself. And the longer the fermentation goes, within reason, the more lactobacillus colonies develop, and the more probiotics and beneficial enzymes build up in the food. So yes, this ancient preserved food is literally more nutritious after 6 months in a crock than it was the day it was harvested. That's not a marketing claim, that's basic biochemistry. The Amish used wide-mouthed stoneware crocks, usually 2 to 5 gallons in size. They would pack shredded or whole vegetables tightly, pour over a brine of non-iodized salt and filtered water, then weight everything down with a flat stone or a wooden disc so the vegetables stayed fully submerged. The crock was covered with a cloth to keep dust out but allow gas to escape. Then it went into the root cellar, and they waited. 2 to 4 weeks for most vegetables, longer for anything meant to store through winter. Now, here's the part of this story that most people don't know. And this is the part that should make you a little bit angry. In 1949, the FDA began pushing what became known as the pasteurization mandate. The official reason was food safety. Pasteurization, which involves heating food to kill bacteria, was being promoted as the modern, scientific way to keep Americans safe. But here's what happened in practice. Large food companies lobbied hard for pasteurization requirements to become the standard for commercially sold food products. Why? Because pasteurization requires industrial equipment. Small farmers and home producers can't afford it. Fermented foods made in small crocks by individual families suddenly faced regulatory pressure that made it very difficult to sell or even distribute legally. The knowledge didn't disappear, but its commercial presence did. Fermented foods made the traditional way got pushed out of mainstream American food culture almost entirely. What replaced them? Vinegar-pickled vegetables sold in jars on grocery store shelves. And here's the thing, those are not the same. Vinegar pickling kills the bacteria, but it doesn't produce the same probiotic colonies, the same enzymatic activity, or the same nutritional depth as true lacto-fermentation. You're eating a preserved vegetable, not a living food. The industrial food system gave Americans a copy of the original, and most people never knew the difference. The Amish noticed the difference, and they kept doing what they had always done for themselves inside their own communities. They didn't fight the regulations, they just didn't follow them. Because they weren't selling food to strangers, they were feeding their families. Now let's talk about how you can actually apply this. This is a completely practical system that works in a modern home with equipment you can buy for under $50 total. The most important vessel is a good ceramic or stoneware crock. You want one that's lead-free, food-grade, and unglazed on the inside walls. A 2-gallon crock is plenty for a small family. Fill it with tightly packed shredded cabbage, carrots, beets, or a mix of whatever vegetables you have. Make a brine using 2 teaspoons of non-iodized sea salt per cup of filtered water. Pour it over the vegetables until everything is fully submerged. Then weight it down with a clean flat stone or a plastic bag filled with brine. Cover with a cloth and leave it at room temperature. Then move it to a cool, dark space. A basement shelf, a garage in winter, or even the back of a lower kitchen cabinet works if you don't have a root cellar. If you want to build a basic root cellar, you don't need to dig up your backyard. The simplest modern version is a buried galvanized trash can. Dig a hole about 3 feet deep in a shaded part of your yard. Place the can inside, leaving the lid slightly above ground level. Line the bottom with straw for insulation. This creates a surprisingly effective microcellar that will keep root vegetables, carrots, potatoes, beets, turnips, parsnips, stable through most of a North American winter. It costs almost nothing to build, and it can hold enough vegetables for a month or more of meals. For long-term fermented storage, the Amish also used fermented grain products, specifically a sourdough-style culture that could be used to leaven bread for years without ever buying commercial yeast. A single cup of active sourdough starter, fed with flour and water every week, can last indefinitely. There are documented sourdough starters in the United States that are over 100 years old and still being used daily to bake bread. This is living food. It grows, it persists, it multiplies, and it costs nothing to maintain once you have it going. Here's the bigger picture, and this is what I really want you to think about. We live in a world where most families have a 3-day food supply in their homes at any given time. 3 days. If supply chains were disrupted, if a storm knocked out power for a week, if prices spiked hard and fast, most households would feel it almost immediately. The system the Amish have maintained for centuries is designed around a completely different assumption. The assumption is that you are responsible for your own food security, and that responsibility requires knowledge, not just money. You don't need to become Amish to use this knowledge. You don't need a farm or acres of land. You need a crock, a cool dark space, some vegetables, and salt. You need to understand the basic logic of how fermentation works and why cold storage slows decay. That knowledge alone, applied even in a small apartment, can dramatically reduce your dependence on grocery stores and your monthly food spending. People who practice home fermentation regularly report cutting their grocery costs by 15 to 30%, not by eating less, but by preserving food at its cheapest and most abundant, rather than buying it piecemeal at full retail price. And there's something else worth saying out loud. This knowledge is thousands of years old. It kept the Roman army fed. It kept Amish families alive through brutal Pennsylvania winters. It has outlasted every government regulation, every food trend, every industrial food revolution, It doesn't need electricity, it doesn't need chemicals, it doesn't need a corporation to make it work. It just needs someone willing to learn it and pass it on. The Amish kept this alive not by being stubborn or old-fashioned, but because they understood something deeply important. The most valuable thing you can own isn't a product, it's a skill. Products run out, skills don't. So start small. Get one crock, shred one head of cabbage, make your first jar of real living sauerkraut. Watch what happens over 2 weeks. Taste the difference between something that's actually alive and something that came out of a factory. And then ask yourself why you were never taught any of this in school.